There we are. So we got us a new look today, man.
I like it, dude. Look at the quality.
Nice. It's not Marbach nice. It's a little bit better than that.
Dude, this is Stone Oak nice.
So now they can see us as we're doing the show, you know? And we got to check to make sure. Now I'm always paranoid about, are we live on YouTube? YouTube try to cancel us. Oh, we're live now. I can see us.
It's a good look, dude.
Yeah, it's nice and clean. Morning, Sam Salinas. Thanks for joining us, man. We got a new look for today. Rolling out something different. Y'all can see us. So people are liking the new graphic now. Yep, Eagles suck. Buenos dias. Good morning, Marbach. It's almost that time, Mike. So they get a little peek at seeing what we're doing behind the scenes. There we go.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. I'm back in the studio. My name's Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. Joe Garcia is an artist, my man. Look at the graphics. Tell us what was going on there with the intro.
Yeah, man. We're changing the intro up. We're just guys a nice, clean look now. Got a nice, clean timer. And I'm going to put some other things on there to help our sponsors out. But they can get a little sneak peek at what we're doing behind the scenes before the show starts now.
So now you can see us. And now if I'm running late, you're going to see me running on late,
running in,
putting things on, putting my headphones on.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. About 6-7 minutes ago, I was driving in and you asked me the question, what are we going to title this show?
Yeah.
And I jokingly said, hey, do the Eagles suck?
Yeah.
And you started laughing. So we titled this one, Do the Eagles Suck? But I'm going to bring that even to a deeper level. Does the NFC East suck? I'm looking at the standings right now, Joe.
Yeah.
There's 8 divisions in the NFL, 4 in the AFC, 4 in the NFC, right? Did you know the NFC East, where the Cowboys reside, is the only team that doesn't have an undefeated team in the division?
Yeah, man. It's rough, dude. And doesn't the NFC East always stink?
Well, people said it was going to be the NFC South, right?
Yeah.
But the Saints and the Buccaneers are both 2-0. The Falcons are 1-1 after beating the Philadelphia Eagles in Monday Night Football. Dramatic fashion. Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, leading them all the way down. The Eagles wetting the bed, dude. The way that they lost down the stretch is unforgivable.
No, man. I was digging this one. It reminded me of that scene out of The Simpsons. That little boy Ralph, when he had that crush on Lisa Simpson, and she broke his heart, and you could see the moment that his heart broke.
Yeah,
and they replayed that. That's exactly what happened to Eagles fan. And me being a diehard Cowboys fan, I was loving every single second. 38 seconds, Mike. Eagles had this one in the bag, and they just let it slip away.
And not only did they lose this game, they lost this game in front of the entire country. On top of that, it is the fourth game since the start of last season, the fourth game that the Eagles have lost in the last 2 minutes of the game. The Eagles have given up the most points in the final 2 minutes of either half in the last year and a half than any other team, like 140 points in the last 19 games in the final 2 minutes. Dude, the Eagles suck, man. We're going to get into that. The NFC East sucks. We're going to get into that. Do you know who else sucks? Bryce Young. Poor guy, man. I feel let's pour one out for Bryce Young.
He might be done, dude.
I feel bad for him. They did him dirty.
He was a former #1 pick at that, dude.
Just 2 seasons ago, man. And I don't blame them, dude. I don't blame him at all. He got failed on. It's very similar to Baker Mayfield. Remember Baker Mayfield? 7 different coaches, 7 different years. I mean, Baker was set up to fail.
Yeah.
Bryce Young was already on his third offensive coordinator. He's been there for 19 games, 3 offensive coordinators.
What was that? The one stat that I had told you, I said the last time that the Carolina Panthers led a game was like 2 years ago.
Right, like in a December.
Oh man, that's a telling stat right there. That just means that they stink, dude. They're really that bad, dude.
They really do. We're going to get into the NFL power rankings, which are out. Some teams moving up, some teams moving down. Happy to say, popping the collar right now. My Saints moving on up into the top 10. Some of the teams that dropped down, though, significantly in those power rankings. We'll go through that. Derek White got into a scuffle at the Colorado football game the other day. There's video of that. We'll get into that. And speaking of people getting into trouble, Diddy.
He got a diddle inside.
The feds got him. The feds got him. Diddy ain't coming out of jail anytime soon.
No,
dude.
man.
Diddy's done.
You need to share the list of stuff later on that. Yeah.
Let's just say 1,000 what of lube? 1,000 containers of lube? Every time I hear lube, I think of the movie Superbad when he's like, I brought some spermicidal lube. And Jonah Hill's character is like, dude, these girls are 19. They don't need that. They're ready to go.
I mean, when they catch you with 1,000 bottles of lube, bro, I mean, like, what are you going to do with that?
I mean,
that's just being cochino, man.
Is lube really needed?
Hey, man, I don't know what Diddy's into, bro, but damn.
Dude, it's brutal. But let's get into last night's game, the Eagles. Okay, so the Eagles are putting the game away, right? Obviously, they're at Lincoln Financial Field. They're the better team taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who have a new quarterback in Kirk Cousins. A new quarterback, yes. A veteran, yes. But the Falcons looked awful in week 1.
Yeah.
They come out week 2, and they're just hanging around, right? Just like Teddy KGB in the movie Rounders, hanging around. Can't get rid of him, is what Teddy KGB says, right?
Yep.
They stayed within one possession, right? You have the Eagles up 3 with under 2 minutes to go in the game. They've got 3rd and 3 inside the 10. Falcons with no timeouts. You have Saquon Barkley. You have Jalen Hurts behind the center. You could simply just run the ball, get 2 or 3 yards. You might get the first down, but even if you get 2 or 3 yards, you get to 4th and 1. What happens?
Go for it.
The clock goes down, gets down. You would have gotten down to about 1:15 at that point. Then you can go for it, get the win. Perfectly fine. And if you don't get the win, what happens? Well, they have to go the length of the field to kick a field goal. And Riddick over on ESPN this morning put it perfectly well. He basically said, look, man, when a team is down 3 with a minute to go, guess what they're going for? They want to get a field goal. But when a team is down 6, they're forced to go for the win.
They have to go
for the win. They did a pass to Saquon Barkley that he has caught 99% of the time for the rest of his career, before, college, high school, whatever the case may be. It is a catch you and I could have made. He was wide open, would have gotten the first down. They probably would have done victory formation, 1 by 3. Maybe he got into the end zone. Doesn't matter. Saquon Barkley says right now that he cost the Eagles the victory, and very much so, because he should have caught it.
But is it really his fault, or is it the coach's fault because they should have ran the ball?
Because they put him in that position to fail.
Yep.
There's a 1% chance of him missing that ball. The ball, he was wide open. The ball is thrown perfectly to where only he can catch it. Now it is backhanded, but he's got 2 hands on the ball, and the ball bounced off of both of them. That is the fact that Saquon Barkley has been playing for teams that lose all the time in the Giants his entire career. It bounced off his hands. They go, instead of going for the win, they kick a field goal. Like, hey, we're going to be up 6. We'll bring our defense in. But as ESPN mentioned earlier this morning, when you're down 6, what do you got to do? You got to go for the win. Yeah. And that's what they did. Kirk Cousins going for the win.
Look at this. This is a stat that I'm showing right here from Yahoo Sports. Retweeted this earlier today before the show. With 1:57 left in the 4th quarter, the Falcons had a 0.7% chance to win this game, and they won.
And there's a lot of blame to go around. I mean, Eagles lost 22-21. Falcons win 22-21 rather. And man, that touchdown at the end of the game, dude. Good Lord. That move that Drake London had right there, that double reverse, that double juke move, he went right, left, right. Dude, it was a thing of beauty, man. And he was wide open in the end zone. The Eagles dropped to 1-1. Who do the Eagles have this week? They have the Saints. They're going to the Superdome.
They might be losing again.
We talked about how the Cowboys could drop to 1-2 because they've got the Ravens coming in. The Eagles could drop to 1-2. Dude, is it possible that the best team is the Washington Commanders?
That would be
Is it
something,
possible? Right? The NFC East might actually be the worst division in the NFL. This might be the division where 9-8 gets you into the playoffs.
Or 500.
9-8 gets you to the playoffs. 9-8 gets you a home game in the playoffs.
The Cowboys. So you're telling me the Cowboys got a chance?
That's what I'm saying. Because the Eagles couldn't take this game away. The Eagles are trash. And let's go through the NFL stats, by the way.
Yeah.
Because look at what the Eagles
we're
did.
showing everything right now.
We're showing the stats right now. Okay. So last night, you look at what the Falcons were able to do offensively. Offensively, they were able to get 152 yards on the ground. Bijan Robinson, former Texas Longhorns, great. 97 yards on 14 carries, dude. 14 carries, 97 yards. Tyler Algier had 9 carries for 53 yards. Dude, that's like 5 or 6 yards per carry. Mooney, 88 yards. Drake London, 54 yards. You're able to run the ball. Did you know that right now, when it comes to the rush defense, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to look up the NFL stats right now, but I saw this earlier today. When it comes to defense, you have the Eagles as the 3rd worst team in the entire NFL when it comes to rush defense right now.
Jeez.
You think the Cowboys suck at stopping the rush? Look at what the Eagles are doing defensively.
Did you see they had Kelsey on 3rd quarter? They bring him on, right?
Yeah.
And he's on there. And this is Jason Kelsey, right? Retired.
Yeah.
Former Eagle. And they asked him, do you miss the tush push? He goes, not at all. Because he saw it run, you know? He saw the tush push out there and it's all its glory. He says that's one play that he does not miss.
Look at this, dude. Yards given up per game. So I was a little bit off here when it comes to rushing. The Baltimore Ravens have only given up 99 yards in 2 games on the ground. Cowboys, who have no offensive game when it comes to running the ball, are going to take on this Ravens defense. This Ravens defense, by the way, they're 0-2. They're 0-2, but they only give up 49 yards per game on the ground. So far this season, Saints giving up only 63. So the Eagles are going into New Orleans, taking on a Saints team that only gives up 63 yards per game. When it comes to the worst teams, well, Indianapolis Colts, Carolina, the Rams, the Raiders, the Giants, the Falcons are bad. But the Eagles are there as one of the worst teams as well. 157.5 yards per game that they give up.
And you saw they had toted out Nick Foles during this game too, man.
Mm-hmm.
That poor son of a bitch, dude. After all he's done for the city, getting him a Super Bowl and everything, and then he has to be there to watch this debacle.
Right.
You know, wow.
Look at this. Remember I asked you the question, is the NFC East the worst team in the worst division in the NFL?
Yeah.
Here is the teams that give up the worst amount of points, the most amount of points in the NFL through 2 games, right? Did you know out of the top 7 teams, or the bottom 7 teams, if you will, you have the Commanders who give up, or you have the Cowboys who give up 30.5 points, the Commanders who give up 27.5, the Eagles who give up 25.5, and the Giants who give up 24.5. That is right. The 4 teams of the NFC East are represented in the bottom 7 of points given up per game.
Jeez, that means that their defense, no vale, stinky.
There's nothing there.
Stinks.
There's nothing there. That is ridiculous. You have the Ravens taking on the Cowboys. Collectively, they give up about 59 points per game. I wonder what the over-under is.
Oh, man.
When it comes to that. The Eagles are going in to New Orleans, who's averaging 45 points per game right now. And New Orleans is on fire on all cylinders. Did you know that New Orleans was beyond the 6 touchdowns that they had?
Oh, no.
I think I saw a stat that said that the Saints have scored on all 15 possessions this year.
With Derek Carr?
With Derek.
And you were like, he's all right.
Well, no.
He's looking a little bit more than all right to me.
Well, dude, when you have that offensive line, my friend Brian reached out to me this morning, was like, dude, are the Saints really that good? It's 2 games, man. It's 2
Small
games.
sample size, man.
Small sample size. But you look at it, you win what? In the trenches.
Yeah.
And that offensive line, is it because Derek Carr got great? Dude, Derek Carr has all day to throw the ball.
Oh, no doubt.
Alvin Kamara has blocked. It looks like they have 15 players on the team. He got blockers among blockers among blockers. They just have a really good offensive line. That's the problem with the Chicago Bears right now. The Chicago Bears, they got Caleb Williams. They got them the running back they needed. They got him the wideouts that he needed, experienced players.
The O-line.
But no O-line. So Caleb Williams is running for his life because, he has all the talent around him, but he has no one. He has no time.
Poor kid, man. Rookie season coming out, number 1 overall pick, and you're out there running for your life, dude. How long do you think he's going to stay healthy?
Yeah.
How
about the teams that are giving up the fewest amount of points? Defense wins championships, right?
I'd have to say that, surprisingly, I would put the Chiefs defense up there as well.
They're not bad. They bend, but they don't break.
Okay.
Chargers giving up only 6.5 points per game.
Jeez,
they've given up 13 points in 2 games.
The hardball Chargers.
The Steelers have given up only 8 points per game. Minnesota, who beat San Francisco, has given up only 11.5 points per game. The Saints giving up only 14.5 points per game. The Patriots 16.5. What does this all have in common? They're the teams that are winning.
Defense, man.
You got an undefeated team, undefeated team, undefeated team, undefeated team.
And you know what we were saying? We're saying if your defense is solid, right? You have a really great defense.
Right.
Your offense could be all right.
Right.
It's enough to win, Doesn't have to be spectacular, but that defense, man, that's what's going to win you Super Bowls.
Look at the quarterbacks of these teams. Sam Darnold with Minnesota. I mean, Justin Herbert's good, but he's been a little bit. He's all right. He's good. He's talented, but I think people went off the deep end and giving him his flowers too early. But you have Sam Darnold. You have Caleb Williams. You have Baker Mayfield. These are the quarterbacks of the teams that have the best defenses in the NFL right now. It's kind of funny. So do the Eagles suck, Joe? Yes or no? Like, what is the best case scenario for the Eagles of number of wins? Because I don't see them winning more than 10.
I think that the Eagles and the Cowboys, they're going to be duking it out again. And that what they might be doing here is, as bad as both teams have looked right now, are they going to be fighting for a wild card? I don't know if these teams are good enough to win that division.
Why do we have to say that it's going to be either the Cowboys or the Eagles? Why can't it be the Washington Commanders? Commanders won 21 to 18. No, not with Daniel Jones at quarterback. Daniel Jones is trash.
But the Commanders could surprise some people.
But Jaden Daniels, I mean, look at Jaden Daniels go out there. Second game of his career, 23 of 29, 226 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. Jaden Daniels also ran the ball for 44 yards. Brian Robinson, 133 yards rushing. Now, you're looking around at who's he throwing the ball to. Well, they have Scary Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler, Noah Brown, Zach Ertz. It's not like the Commanders don't have talent around Jaden Daniels.
Isn't Zach Ertz former Cowboy?
Zach Ertz, former Eagle.
That's where I heard his name.
Former Eagle.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. If the Commanders can just stay close enough, it is very possible that they might be able to make a run. But I'm going to make this bet, Joe. I'm going to bet that the Eagles and the Cowboys are both 1-2 after 3 weeks. And that's going to open the door for a formerly known as the Redskins Commanders team to make a run. Who do the Commanders got this week? They got the Bengals. They're on the road to the Bengals. Dude, all the teams are going to be 1-2.
You think the Commanders are going to be able to upset Joe Burrow coming off that disappointing loss to the Chiefs, man?
Okay, can I place a bet in Vegas right now? A money line parlay. You have the Giants going up and taking on the Cleveland Browns on the road. My money line parlay this week, and I'll call Brandon Big Papi Medina, is that all 4 teams of the NFC East lose this week. All 4 of them.
And look at that. You had Hanover Fist. He's saying, y'all hear about the Washington Commanders executive that got fired for his statements.
No, what did he say? I
don't know. About to look that up myself right now.
Hanover Fist saying Daniels looks good, but the organization sucks. I don't know, man. They got the team. I mean, Jaden Daniels he's a talented guy. He reminds me of RG3. He's RG3, but he knows how to slide. RG3 was a good quarterback, won the Rookie of the Year, but he didn't know how to slide, and he always got pummeled because of it.
He just wasn't durable enough, man. He was kind of thin, dude. He didn't have a lot of bulk on him.
He was thin, and he was absorbing hits like he was a running back. Dude, just get out of bounds or just slide. He would try to get the extra 2 yards, and that's why he was on ESPN, got fired a couple of weeks ago, but got let go, laid off, whatever you want to call it. But RG3 was really, really good. He just didn't know how to take care of himself. But the NFC East, dude, that is the NFC least. That division sucks. All 4 teams are going to lose this week. Eagles are going to lose. Cowboys are going to lose. Commanders are going to lose. Giants are going to lose. And what are you going to have there? You're going to have a team there that's going to have a first-place team being 1-2.
Yeah, so this is the information that I've gotten. Commanders exec Rael Entin fired over remarks about Jerry Jones, Goodell, and more. The Washington Commanders have fired Vice President of Content Rael Entin, who made disparaging comments about the team's players, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
Yeah,
apparently
stupid.
They caught him on undercover camera,
Oh, okay.
Secret recordings and all that kind of stuff. Well, the Washington Commanders kind of have a storied history of diddling and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're keeping a close eye on what's going on inside the facility. So yeah, they fired him.
Tony Anello says, if A.J. Brown is playing week 3, you have the Eagles needing to win out of desperation. Eagles will beat the Saints. I will say this, though. If A.J. Brown's going to play defense for the Eagles, you might have a point there. But the fact of the matter is that you have the Eagles defense who sucks right now, which is weird because they have a bunch of Georgia talent. But when they got rid of Hassan, when they got rid of that dude, that team just went off the deep end. They have not been the same ever since.
No.
And on top of that, the Saints have a strong offensive line. My friend Brian called me and goes, why are they so good? 27-year-old, 25-year-old, 25-year-old, 22-year-old, first rounder, second rounder. The Saints have an offensive line.
It's 2 games.
It's just 2 games.
Just 2 games.
But there are certain things that travel. And one thing that travels is offensive line. You have that offensive line that the Saints have there, right? They're young guys, 22, 25, 25, 27. And then the other guy they have is a journeyman who's pretty good. You have that right there. What did DeMarcus Lawrence do against the Saints?
Nothing.
What did Micah Parsons do? Were they double and triple teaming them? No, they weren't. They just couldn't. They just held their ground. Cesar Ruiz, Trevor Penning, all those. They just held their ground. And a strong offensive line goes a long way. Look at the Cowboys of the early 90s, mid-90s when they won their championships. Was it because of Emmitt Smith? Was it because of Troy Aikman? Was it because of Michael Irvin and Novacek?
Troy had all day to throw.
Had all day to throw, and Emmitt Smith had a running lane, play after play after play.
Great blocking.
It was the offensive line. You take that offensive line away, it's the Niners winning the championships.
Yeah.
The offensive line is so important. Yes, it's only 2 games. But when I look at the Saints, I predicted the Saints would go 9-8 like they did the year before, 8-9. They were kind of that team. The Saints didn't suck last year. The Saints had a winning record last year.
Just not enough to make it in.
They were 1 game away from making the playoffs. Yeah. They were 9-8. So to say, oh, well, they suck and now there's no. They were one of the winning teams last year. 9-8's not great, but it's better than 8-9. It's better than 7-10.
If they had won 10 games, that would have been enough for them.
That would have been enough for them to make the playoffs. So it's pretty interesting to see. Looking at the NFC standings right now, Commanders 1-1, Eagles 1-1. Look at that right there. This 4 teams right here. The only division that doesn't have a 2-0 team attached to it. Sam Darnold 2-0. Somehow or another, the Vikings are ahead of the NFC North right now, ahead of the Detroit Lions who lost this week. Saints and Buccaneers. I tell you what, though. That Baker Mayfield, that Mike Evans, Saints are playing better than the Bucs, but the Bucs aren't no chumps, man. The Bucs are a good team. They're going to make noise. They're going to make a playoff push. Seahawks 2-0. How the hell are the Seahawks 2-0? Dude, they've only scored 49 points. They've given up 40. They have a differential of just 9, positive 9, but they've won both close games. The Seattle Seahawks beating 2 teams that are relatively bad. They beat the Broncos and the Patriots. They've got the Dolphins who are going to be without Tua this week. Dude, if you get these teams like the Seahawks getting wins, these junk wins, they all add up.
They do. Hey, a win's a win at the end of the day. It could be enough. Like you said, you could be 1 game away from getting into the playoffs, man.
It's so great to watch right now. And they have this old saying in the NFL, also in the NBA. You can't win a game in the first quarter. You can't win the Super Bowl in the first 4 games. What you can do is lose it.
Yeah, if you don't win,
if you go 1-3, look at Joe Burrow and the Bengals right now. Burrow's pissed. Burrow has it on his lips right now. He wants to just yell. He wants to go, these MFers aren't doing their job.
He threw his helmet in disgust at that loss against the Chiefs.
Did you see when they interviewed him after the game?
Oh, he's pissed, dude.
And they're like, what's the problem? What needs to change? And it was right there. It was right on his lips. He wanted to say, these guys aren't doing their job. I'm doing my part, is what he wanted to say, but he didn't say it.
You know what? You got to ask the question. If the Bengals have another disappointing season, Joe Burrow going to want out, dude.
Yeah.
He's going to say, you know what? This isn't it for me, man. But you know what? Jerry can't afford Burrow now.
That's right. Hey, look at this, man. I'm looking at the who's the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, the 2-0 Seattle Seahawks. You got Geno Smith, baby.
God, I haven't heard that name in a while,
Geno Smith.
Who?
I mean, this is funny, man. This is funny. Look at the 2-0 teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who were, by the way, were supposed to have a quarterback controversy. Justin Fields is 2-0 as quarterback right now. I mean, the 2-0 quarterbacks are funny. Now you have Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, okay, but you have C.J. Stroud, okay. So you got two. You've got some elite quarterbacks there, but again, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, and Geno Smith. Those four: Geno Smith, Baker, Derek, Darnold, are the 4 2-0 quarterbacks in the NFC. So, some of the power rankings, Joe. Which power rankings do you want to go with? You want to go with ESPN, USA Today, or Yahoo?
I'd say let's go with ESPN. We went with USA Today last time.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Where should the Cowboys be and where should the Texans be? Where should my Saints be?
Texans, man. I'd say they'd at least be in the top 10.
Texans?
Texans.
Give me a number. They're 2-0. They're one of the 7 or 8 teams that are 2-0.
I'd say probably middle of the pack, maybe 7, 8.
7, 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you think the Cowboys should be?
Oh man,
32 teams.
They're on the outside looking in. I'd have them like
they're 1-1, 32 teams.
I'd say at least 17, 18.
Okay. What about my Saints, who, by the way, were number 22 last week, basically across the board?
Now they've moved up. I would put them closer to maybe breaking that top 10.
All right. So let's go through ESPN. ESPN has on their power rankings today the worst team being the Carolina Panthers.
Oof.
Number 32. All right. Number 31, they have the Giants. 30, the Broncos. 29, the Tennessee Titans. My goodness, man.
The mighty have fallen. Remember when the Titans actually used to be a team worth the damn? Not anymore.
The Colts at 28, the Commanders at 27, the Bears at 26. At 25, the Patriots. 24, the Jaguars. 23, the Falcons, who won yesterday, dramatic fashion at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Number 22, the Browns, who got a win back up to 1-1. Dude, Brock Bowers had a huge game, almost 100 yards receiving. For the Raiders. The Raiders moved up from 28 to 21 in the ESPN power rankings. I drafted Brock Bowers in fantasy. It was a auction league, and I was bidding him up. And this guy just mocked me. He was like, scoffed at me. He was like, what do you think this guy is? Travis Kelce? And I said, yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's a rookie. It's exactly who he is and what he's going to be. And they laughed at me. Now you look at Brock Bowers' stats compared to Kelce. Bowers has double the yards that Kelce does.
You're like, who's laughing now?
Who's laughing now? Rams, number 20 in the ESPN power rankings.
Man, that's surprising. Isn't that surprising to you that the Rams are that bad right now?
Bad offensive line, dude. Bad offensive line. And again, that's another team that gave up on Baker Mayfield. Matt Stafford just got old, man. He just got old. Number 20, number 19, moving up 7 spots, the Arizona Cardinals. Bengals at 18, dropping to 0-2. Dolphins, after getting knocked out, going 1-1, has dropped from 9 to 17.
I haven't seen my Cowboys yet.
The Jets at number 16, rather.
Oh man, the Jets are frauds, bro. You never, ever, ever bet on the Jets.
Number 15, your Green Bay Packers, who won with the backup quarterback.
Yeah, because Love is still injured, man.
Dropping from 7 to 14. The Dallas Cowboys.
They shouldn't even be there, man. That stinker of a performance they put up this last Sunday, dude. I'm pissed at them.
What do you think about Deron Bland's injury? I mean, I know he doesn't play the defensive line. He's one of the secondary, but do you think that plays a role in how good the Cowboys defense can and can't be?
I just think you're seeing what they are right now, early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to be able to put up points to win. The defense might show up here and there, but they're not going to be consistent. And the thing with the Cowboys too, they're not going to be consistent. They might do enough to maybe flirt with making the playoffs.
Drew Show coming out. The comment here: starting the season 0-2, you have a 16% chance of making the playoffs. Starting 2-0, you have better than a 50% shot. Starting 1-1, you have a 46% chance of making the playoffs. Last year, the Texans started 0-2. Facts, and there's a lot to be said about that. Again, Drew, like they say, you cannot win a championship in the first quarter of the season, but you can lose it in the first quarter of the season. Getting those wins is important. Getting those junk wins, those games that you shouldn't have, getting those losses they just hurt.
Look at Hanover Fist. 14 is too generous. I agree. I thought the Cowboys would at least be falling to 17.
Okay, makes sense. By the way, they're showing Stephen A. Smith calling them the Alice Cowboys because they got no D. That's an old school joke. Number 13, the Baltimore Ravens, who the Cowboys are playing, dropping from number 4 to 13. Kind of hard to be in the top 10 when you're 0-2. Dude, the thing about the Ravens, they're not feeding Derrick Henry the ball down the stretch. They're in close games, one possession games, to either go for the lead or hold on to a lead. They've got Derrick Henry, who's a 250-pound bulldozer, and they're refusing to give him the ball. He's had 3 carries in the fourth quarters of the games this year combined.
That's on the coach, man.
1 and 2.
That's 3 on the coach.
3 on the season so far in the fourth quarter. Give him the damn ball. And it doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 5. Give him the ball.
If you're the quarterback and you got Derrick Henry there, do you follow what your coach is telling you? You just like screw it.
Go Henry to the left.
There you go. Audible, change the play up.
Just bulldoze, man. Because again, you don't need to get the first down half the time. Just get half the distance, man. Make it a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2. Number 12 on ESPN's power rankings for the NFL after week 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oddly enough, they dropped a spot even though they won a game. Number 11, the Minnesota Vikings, led by Sam Darnold. Look at Sam Darnold, what he had to do, Joe. Sam Darnold, drafted by the Jets, failed over there, was a bust over there. You can say that it was because of the organization. It was because they didn't put talent around him, and ultimately they just got rid of him, right? He goes over to San Francisco, holds a clipboard. But he gets to hang around Shanahan. He gets to hang around Brock Purdy. He gets to hang around a very, very, very good team. Doesn't play much, if at all. Goes to Minnesota to hold the clipboard over there. They have J.J. McCarthy coming in, the rookie who's going to be the next big thing. J.J. McCarthy looked good in the preseason, but then he gets hurt. And now you have the team go to Sam Darnold. You know that everybody thought that the season was over at that point.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold with a 97-yard touchdown pass.
If you're a Vikings fan and you tell me something different, man, you're lying.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
So here's the top 10 of the ESPN Power Rankings, which were released this morning. We haven't heard from the Texans yet, who are 2-0. We haven't heard from the Saints that are 2-0. At number 10, they have the Geno Smith-led Seattle Seahawks at 2-0. And they're talking about how great Zach Charbonnet has been. Charbonnet, who came out of UCLA a couple of years ago, was a rookie last season. Charbonnet is one of my flex players on my fantasy auction league because I just like what he does.
That's surprising. Our good friend of the show here, Jason Garcia, over in Portland, he tunes in and watches in between when he's not working. Big Seattle Seahawks fan, man. Mm-hmm. He actually wants to be on the show again to talk football, but I tell him, I might bring you on. Bring you on.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about your team.
Well, speaking about my team, number 9, moving up from number 23 to number 9. They're giving props to Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback for the Saints, who did a pretty good job handling CeeDee Lamb. Pretty good job. You know, CeeDee Lamb had that one touchdown, but that was basically about it. Lattimore went out with an injury, so McKinstry coming in and filling in the gaps. Number 9, I'll take it. Number 8, the Chargers. Okay, I mean,
2-0.
2-0. You can't argue against it.
Under Harbaugh.
Can't argue against it. Number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, moving up from 13 to 7.
That's surprising.
They're a solid team. Now, here's the thing about the Saints real fast. The Saints, they just keep scoring the ball. At some point, you would think that they're going to slow down. But Alvin Kamara is healthy. That offensive line is healthy.
But he's always hurt, though. How healthy is he going to remain?
Yeah, he does get hurt a lot. But Kendre Miller should be getting better, healthier. He's on the he's on the injury list for the first 4 weeks. Kendre Miller was looking really good until he gets these injuries. Jamal Williams is the backup. Williams is no scrub, dude. Williams led the league in touchdowns 2 years ago. He had 19 in a season. So the Saints have backups that are decent. They're not as dynamic as Alvin Kamara, but they have backups that are decent. Top 6, Philadelphia Eagles. Come on, man.
A 1-1.
Come on, man. And they only dropped one spot from 5 to 6. Who are they? The Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Come on, man. ESPN, do better. The Eagles aren't even a top 10 team anymore. No one believes it anymore. Number 5, the Detroit Lions at 1-1.
How can you have 1-1 teams ranked higher than these 2-0 teams? Undefeated teams.
I think they're trying to say, hey, it's just 2 weeks, man. It's just 2 weeks. But the Eagles have shown over the last season and 2 weeks that they give up fourth quarter leads. You're not a top 10 team if you can't close in the fourth quarter. They have the Texans at number 4, moving up from 6 to 4 rather. Top 3, they have the Niners, dropping just one spot from 2 to 3 after losing to the Vikings. How do you go from 2 to 3 by losing to the Vikings? I mean, that San Francisco defense, which is supposed to be elite, got picked apart by Sam Darnold.
Look at this, Jesse A. Harbaugh defense, O-line, tough physical team. Puro pinche Charger power.
With the lightning bolts at the end. Buffalo Bills are number 2 according to the ESPN power rankings. Makes sense, man. I mean, they've been dispatching their opponents pretty well. And at number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs got bailed up by the refs. Again, was it pass interference? Yes, but you don't call that one, man.
But I mean, they kind of turn the other way when they see what the Chiefs are doing.
Yeah,
because the Chiefs commit some fouls too out there that could be, called for penalties, right?
Right.
Yardage going the other way to the opposing team. Officials swallow the whistles, dude.
Yep.
Look the other way.
Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting because, we saw those lightning bolts, that power, that charge. Let's go from that power, that charge to some diamond hard concrete by MCS General Contracting.
All right, there you go. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That diamond hard concrete, baby. He's a Saints fan, Chris Leha. Can we get audio on this?
Yeah, whatever. Like I told you, whatever you're playing there is going to come in.
This is in honor of Chris Leha because he's a Saints fan. I'm a Saints fan. He says that Saints fans don't recognize me, but I'm sorry. I've been a fan for 2 decades. Carter Anderson is a comedian from San Antonio and from Austin. He has hundreds of thousands of subscribers or followers rather on TikTok and on Instagram. He does a lot of comedy about like foods and just various current events, if you will. He had this one about the Saints game that I thought was kind of funny.
I can't hear the audio all that great, and I'm glad.
Oh my goodness! Come on, let me pop this up a little bit higher.
Maybe it's on the TikTok.
Let me go as high as. Okay,
it's just low volume.
Yeah, it's low volume. Okay, so basically he's going off and just saying that he's doing when the Saints go marching in, and he's there saying, "You're gonna regret paying Dak that money." It was great, dude. Carter Anderson, follow him on TikTok. He was great. He's great. Let's talk about Derek White.
Oh God, dude.
So tell me, I mean, I heard about it. I
Jefe
saw the
has
video.
It. Jefe has it.
All right, it's a dust up with Derek White. This is on TMG Sports. Does he get popped?
Yeah, he does. I think they're showing the aftermath, but in order to show the true story, like what really happened,
gotta go to Jeff G Spurs Zone.
Yeah, go to Jeff G. I have him on here already.
I saw it. It looked like he got popped from
right here.
Oh,
there we are. See,
he got backhanded.
And he tried to square up.
Former Spur, NBA champion, gold medalist Derek White. This was over at the Colorado State game taking place in Colorado State. So he's in enemy territory, if I'm not mistaken. That's a big rivalry. Just think Texas A&M, Colorado State. He is an alum of Colorado. He's cheering on the Buffaloes, Deion Sanders, and all those guys. Gets into a dust up. I had seen him get hit from. I didn't know how hard it was because I just saw it on my phone. But that's a pretty significant hit that he had there, man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the other fan. I don't know if he was escorted off the field or what happened, but I would assume so.
Did it make his teeth more crooked, or did it line them up a little bit better?
Don't hit the veneers, man. Don't hit the veneers. Was it like on Anchorman? Don't hit the face.
Yeah.
Don't touch the face, right? Don't touch the veneers. I mean, poor Derek White, dude. This dude's had his teeth knocked out more than anybody else I know in the NBA.
I know.
You know? But, I mean, he's just enjoying the game. It doesn't seem like he was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know what the altercation could have been about.
Yeah. He doesn't look drunk.
Doesn't.
No, but it's just, you know what I think it probably is. He probably got recognized. They know that he's a Colorado guy. Somebody probably stepped up to him,
started talking smack. Yeah.
And then he gets some alcohol flowing and things like that happen.
Got that liquid courage.
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, going to show my screen, just posted some breaking news.
I saw that, man.
Former Spurs legend, Boban Marjanovic. Okay, maybe legend's a little bit too far, but he was a fan favorite. Boban Marjanovic is no longer in the NBA. He's decided to join the Euro Leagues all over again. So congratulations. Spent 9 years in the NBA. Got a lot of FaceTime in movies, dude, right? He was in that Adam Sandler movie back in the day.
He was, man.
So he's
and he was in John Wick.
He's in John Wick. He's in commercials. Very, very good. CBS Sports, according to ESPN, according to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, has an article where they rank the top 10 NBA head coaches as of right now.
Come on, Mike.
And it says,
"Come on."
So let me read the top. Let me read it. It says, CBS Sports ranks Spurs Popovich out of the top 10 NBA head coaches, current head coaches. So I went back and forth. They have they released their rankings, right, of the current head coaches, and they have Pop ranked number 14. So 14 out of 30. And it says because of his recent performances, Spurs have lost 6 seasons in a row, or 5 seasons in a row, going to be 6. So I had a back and forth with Spernandez today on Twitter,
man,
where I was talking about, again, that the Spurs need to move on from Greg Popovich. I think having him listed as the top 14 coach in the NBA right now is generous. He is not a top 14.
No, you've made it clear.
He's in the bottom half of coaches right now.
You have a disdain for one coach, Gregory Popovich.
I don't have a disdain for him. I have a love for him.
No, you don't like him as a coach.
I love him so much that I realize he should have retired a decade ago.
Oh, God.
He should have left a legend. He could have left in 2014, could have held up the Larry O'Brien trophy, walked off, and would have been considered the greatest coach of all time. But he held on. And I know why he held on. He held on. And this is something that I don't like getting into. Some people have brought this up. His wife passed.
Yeah, I mean, this gives him purpose.
His kids were adults. It gave him purpose. I get that. But he should have retired in 2014. He should have retired in 2016.
If he would have retired at 2014, he would have walked off the court. He would have been the GOAT.
He would have been the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Beyond Phil Jackson, beyond Pat Riley, he would have been the all-time great. He will forever be on the Mount Rushmore.
No doubt, man.
But there's no way in the world anybody can have any argument that he's the number one coach of all time. 2014, he was the greatest of all time. 2024, not. Top 4, yes.
And like I was telling you though, Mike, I mean, you never know when it's going to be his last season coaching because he's not going to want the whole tour like, some of these other coaches want. They want to been given their flowers and whatnot. He's going to do it just like Tim Duncan. Probably look back, take one last look at the court. All right, I'm out.
Well, I mean, Tim Duncan famously retired with a fax.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. He done. I think Pop probably still got another year or two left in him, dude.
So no, he doesn't, dude. He's got a year or two because they're going to let him do it. He's not the right thing.
What do you want him to do? You want him to go ahead and say, look, man,
front office.
We can't have you as the coach no more, but you can still stick around.
Exactly. Front office. He should have been shown the door a long time ago. How long? Because everyone's like, well, who are you going to get to replace him? Anybody. Mitch Johnson. I don't care. Becky Hammond.
Michael Jimenez,
I don't care.
Next coach of the Antonio Spurs.
Here comes the meltdown. Show him the effing door. Dude, they don't allow you to work at USAA at 76. Why are they going to allow? I don't know. Maybe they do, but they're not. There's nobody there who's 76 years old that's still working at USAA or at AT&T or at Valero, right? They show you the door at some point, dude. You can't even be a news reporter at KSAT at 70 years old because they show you the door. The game has passed them by. How hard is it to understand that? The game has passed them by. It's a young man's game. And who's going to replace him? Anybody. Who's going to replace him? He had no NBA coaching experience when he took over.
When Coach Pop retires,
NBA head coaching experience.
I bet you're going to miss him, dude.
Dude, you know what? To me, he already retired. You know why I know he's retired? Because he's already in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, dude. That's how long it's been. He's been in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame already. Isn't that a sign of like maybe you should just like move on? By the way, CBS Sports has as the number 1 head coach in the NBA right now, Eric Spoelstra. Dude, Spoelstra might catch Pop's records when it's all said and done. Number 2, Eric Spoelstra, young or old?
He's young, man.
Even though he's been around the block for a decade, still young.
You know what? I'd argue that Spo is probably one of the best, the best, in my opinion, coach that we have right now.
By far. I think that's by far. Number 2, they have Nick Nurse, Rick Carlisle, Steve Kerr, Ty Lue. Those are considered the elites. Look at that. Will Hardy, number 7. Where did Will Hardy get a start? Wouldn't it be funny? I mean, that coaching tree that Pop has. Steve Kerr, where did he come from? San Antonio, right?
Oh, but Kerr's a fraud, bro.
Well, you know what? You might say that for the first championship, but he won several others behind it.
I know that, but he's a fraud, dude. He's not as good as advertised.
We talk about how Tony Dungy brought up the team, and it was John Gruden who won the Super Bowl, but Gruden didn't win anything beyond that. That's why it's Dungy's Super Bowl.
Yeah, Kerr's winning with Mark Jackson's team.
He did, and then he won with his own team.
Yeah, so, but I'm saying that was the house that Mark Jackson built,
right? But then it evolved into the second generation, and Steve Kerr was allowed to do that. Will Hardy, though, you know what? I just remember about a year ago, 2 years ago, saying on this podcast, saying on San Antonio Sports Star that I wanted Will Hardy to be the head coach. And what did people say? Who would want Will Hardy? Will Hardy's in his mid-30s. Who would want to have him? Ha 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 ha. Top 7 coach in the NBA, according to CBS Sports. Round out the top 10. Ime Udoka. Where'd he come from? Spurs. Number 9, Mike Budenholzer. Where'd he come from? Spurs. And then you got Joe Mazzulla at 11, who was in his 30s. Dude, we're holding on to a coach who's going to turn 76.
Look at what Mario,
January.
Our good friend of the show, Mario Cavazos, man. Thanks for your comment here, Mario. He's saying, I'm telling you all, don't be surprised when Manu takes over Pop when he sets sail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Manu would want the coaching position.
And I don't think Manu would be a good coach. I don't think any of the big 3 would be a good coach.
I think Manu would maybe fit the bill as maybe an assistant.
Yes.
But I don't know, head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's what they have to say about Greg Popovich. It says, by the way, he hasn't won a playoff series since 2017.
What year are we in now? It's been a while, dude.
The team consistently ranks among the bottom of the league in 3-point attempts.
Remember the last time that the Spurs tried to F around and find out was in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? And that didn't bode well for them. They faced up against, I believe it was the the Pelicans, and the Pelicans just annihilated them. They showed that they had no business even flirting with the play-in.
Dude, this paragraph right here at the bottom says exactly what I'm thinking. And it takes somebody from the outside looking in to see this. CBS Sports says, quote, if you want to grandfather Popovich into the number one spot eternally, well, I won't stop you. He might be underrated historically, but there are coaches I consider better attuned to the modern sport than he is. That's a nice way of saying passed him by. Passed him by. Sam Quinn was the ESPN guy.
Oh, here we go. Rant alert. Every time you talk Coach Pop, man, you get like high blood pressure, man.
I get high blood pressure because it's stating the obvious. It's stating the obvious. And you know what's obvious? That Jeff Garcia is the best in the business when it comes to Locked On Spurs and getting that black and silver Spurs content. Let's give him some love.
Yeah, let's give Jeff some love, man. Oh, sorry, pushed the wrong one. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
You know, at some point, Tom Landry had to be shown the door.
I wanted to show this too, man, from Jeff.
By the way, this I'm looking at the headlines from back in the day when Tom Landry was shown the door.
When he was old.
Yeah. You know, at some point, maybe that Austin money comes in and says, you know, that dude that's like 76 years old that's, you know, not allowing the team to shoot 3-pointers. Maybe he should be shown the door too.
Yeah, look at Jeff joining us here from Locked On Spurs. Back to 5 a week for Los now. And what I was going to show is if you go to Jeff's X there, and you can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone, he's sharing this teaser that they've been putting out with Wembanyama, where they show a meteorite that's coming from Paris, France. It lands here in the city of San Antonio. And Jeff is teasing this. He says, looks like a new Victor Wembanyama Topps card is dropping at Boomtown Collectible Sports Cards. He says, my guess, it's going to be a Wemby Cosmic card.
Nice.
So they're teasing something that's coming, man. It's going to be interesting. Again, you know, their cards is big business now. A resurgence, you know, it kind of died, came back with a vengeance now. So cards like this, man, are high in demand and they have a hefty price tag. So keep your eyes out if you're a card collector.
Jeff Garcia, man, best in the biz. Follow him, subscribe on YouTube, follow him on Spotify as well. That's where I get it. You know, I drive around the city, listening to Locked On Spurs. They do a fantastic job. He's doing the roundtable discussions, which I think is pretty cool. That's a really good thing. Typically, he would have, you know, one guest, whether it be myself, sometimes you, sometimes Pledger. But now having a roundtable where it's 3 people talking goes a long way. It's really good. That's
what I'm going to wind up doing. Since I have room here for 2 guests, that's what we're going to do with the Area 210 podcast.
Yeah.
Going to start dusting that off and bringing it back. And we're going to have some roundtable discussions. I would love for Jeff to be a part of it, but every time I try to get him in here, man, it's hard to coordinate the schedules, but we'll get him in here eventually.
Someone put on the post, I don't know who it was, I saw it a few minutes ago, that if you had Eric Spoelstra on this team as the head coach, the team would still be bad. And that's nonsense. That's nonsense.
Oh, did you see this?
Coaching does matter.
Look at this by Sith Elias. And I saw this. He says, y'all going to watch the Aaron Hernandez show on FX. First episode drops tonight.
Yeah, can't wait. Girlfriend and I are going to stream that together online. You know, it's one of those things where we saw the Netflix one that came out a while back. This one's more of a dramatic, like it seems to be like a mini series of what happened. But we saw the documentary that dropped about Aaron Hernandez. Crazy story, man. You know, he came out of Bristol, Connecticut, high school, goes to Miami, becomes a star over there, gets drafted into the NFL. Not Miami, goes to Florida.
Yeah,
gets drafted in the NFL, wins a Super Bowl and is doing all this while committing crimes, is doing all this while hiding the fact that he was secretly bisexual, hiding the fact of all certain things going on in his life. Aaron Hernandez, I don't know if it was CTE. I don't know if it was a learning disability, but there was something truly jacked up in his life.
Or maybe he was just a bad dude, man. Sometimes you're just born like that, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a comedian who says, "Are you sure your kid has ADHD? He's not just a dick."
I'm saying, man, I mean, sometimes that's just who you are, you know?
Oh, man.
They use all these acronyms nowadays.
Yeah,
Man. It's
Sith
like,
coming out saying Tim Tebow, an angel with Aaron, who's just pure evil in the same squad, was weird. Dude, he was so good, man.
I look at that True Show. I don't understand the fascination with true crimes. And you know,
I cannot sleep without true crime. I go to bed every night watching
I don't
Dateline,
get it, dude.
Forensic Files, watching Cold Case Files. Every night I go to bed watching
that stuff boring, bro. I
dude.
hate it, man. My wife watches it. I don't like it, man.
Dude, the old school Forensic Files, that guy's voice, it was so great.
What was it? It's like that guy from Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, Robert Stack.
Remember that?
That was great. The guy that they had later on was awful, but Robert Stack was excellent.
The voice of an angel.
Yeah. Hey, do you know who's not an angel? P. Diddy. What a jackass.
You wouldn't get the entertainment bump.
Oh
for
my
this
God.
one,
At
bro.
10:30. Oh, it looks like there's a live stream going on right now. Yeah, he is being indicted. A U.S. attorney is going to hold a presser on the indictment of P. Diddy. So there's a running thing going on here. So here's the latest and greatest, according to TMZ. So P. Diddy, by the way, was arrested last night. The feds got him in for sex trafficking, for all sorts of things going on. Not just one person. We're talking lots of people. And it says, according to TMZ, it says, quote, "The feds do not want Diddy to be allowed out on bail. They believe he's a flight risk and a danger to society. So they're asking the courts to keep him where he's at." There's a press conference going down right now. He's being accused of racketeering, sex trafficking, kidnapping, prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. P. Diddy's going to be a movie being made 5 years from now, dude. All of this going on.
Yeah.
He would have what were called freak-off parties, where there would be hundreds of people in orgies, dozens of people in orgies.
Well, look at what they found when they went ahead and seized and raided
1,000 containers of lube.
I'm putting it up right now. It's on the X from TMZ. They said Diddy's indictment references what was seized during the raids at his home in Beverly Hills and Miami. Various freak-off party supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. They also seized firearms. They said 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and drum magazines.
Now, Diddy's lawyers are saying that he's innocent of all charges. But keep in mind, Diddy's always said, "I'm innocent of this, that, and the other," right? But remember, his girlfriend Cassie had claimed that she had been beaten by him.
Yeah.
And then the video came out years later from the hotel room that was very, very, very graphic. You see that all the things that he says that he didn't do, he has been found to have done. Okay. And they're basically saying that he would approach women, tell them that he'd be interested in a relationship with them, lure them into situations where he would drug them, and then force them to have sex with other people.
Yeah.
Essentially be raped.
And look at Mario Cavazos. I haven't forgotten about that. I've been thinking about that because I have to get my schedule to line up here. But no, we haven't forgotten about doing the party to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. It's still to be determined.
Yeah, let's get it done in the next couple of weeks. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we're going to do that definitely, man. But, with Diddy here, man, like you said, all the things that he's denied have come to light now, and they've shown that they've been truthful.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole time he's been lying to you. You know what? He is the reason I think that we don't have Biggie no more. I think it was Diddy who put the hit out on him, man. And I think sooner or later, they're going to make that connection. He's going to wind up being charged with the death of his good friend.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, dude. I don't doubt it at all.
No.
The 2016 video, I'm not going to show it again, but of him beating up his girlfriend as she was trying to escape a hotel room, coming out in just a towel. and kicking her on the ground. This guy's not a man, dude. This guy's a punk.
He's a thug, dude.
He's an absolute punk.
He's going to be put in prison for diddling, dude.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, what was he doing right beforehand? Having a grand old time. Hanging out with fans in Manhattan, New York.
Did you see that they had pictures or videos of him riding around on a bike?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why are you riding around in a bike, man? You don't even got no driver to drive you nowhere no more. Got no car. Maybe he couldn't even drive because he didn't have his license. He had his license revoked.
Right.
Because he's a risk.
Do you remember back in the day, Deshaun Watson, whenever they had like 2 or 3 accusers who would come up, and then there was a fourth, and then there was a fifth, and then all of a sudden there was 24, and people were asking the question, well, where were they before? It's because they're afraid to come out. His accusers are now coming out one by one by one. They're all going to be coming out, and that's absolutely insane. Drew Show says P. Diddy thought he was Hugh Hefner's heir apparent. So kind of crazy.
JHNSB, Diddy security guard was the same person to find Michael Jackson dead.
Wow. So let's lighten up a little bit. Did you see what happened during Monday Night Football yesterday in Philadelphia?
No, I saw that.
Philadelphia losing to the Falcons 22-21. Jason Kelce returned. Mr. Tush Push himself returned to the Philadelphia rather, to celebrate at a tailgate. They turned the music on. Let's give him a letter grade, like Dancing with the Stars. Let's give him a letter grade here.
Let's turn the audio off, man. I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, let's see these moves here. I didn't know he could move like that. I don't know if it's good or bad, but
man has moves.
But it's impressive enough, man. It's impressive enough.
He's a man of the people, man. He likes to get out there and just have a good time.
Yeah, he was with Bill's Mafia a while back.
Yeah.
Kind of a crazy running man type of thing going on.
He was out there at the Super Bowl, wasn't he, without his shirt?
Yeah.
Saying hi, taking pictures with everybody.
But you can tell, by the way, that he is related to Travis Kelce, because that is a Travis Kelce type of thing going on there. He seems to be the more conservative, subdued one a little bit, right? But you can tell that that's the guy that grew up with Travis Kelce.
No, I think Travis is more subdued. I think his brother here.
You think Jason's low key?
Jason is more of the guy that wants to be out there just, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. I think he's the one that's way out there. I think Travis is kind of more subdued.
Can I bring up another story that involves Taylor Swift?
Oh, God, another Taylor Swift.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Kelce, right? About
Jason
Kelce, right? Remember that song, I Believe in a Thing Called Love?
Yeah.
I believe in a thing called love. And then high-pitched voices. Did you know that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were seen singing to that song while at the U.S. Open a while back? The Swifties, who are now, probably in their 20s, early 30s, teens through early 30s, had no idea what that song was. And they got all excited about Taylor Swift getting excited, singing this in the stands. They started downloading the song. And now the number one song for downloaded songs is A Thing Called Love by The Darkness from 2003. 2 decades later, just because Taylor Swift was singing it in the stands of a game, it is now number one in digital tracks.
That's craziness, dude.
That's crazy. So the singer, Justin Hawkins, according to Rolling Stone, called it heartwarming and is thanking her for the streams because they get paid on those streams, you know?
They do, man. And the thing is like, even if they haven't toured in a while, all those people downloading their songs and whatnot and pushing it up the charts, they're getting a resurgence. You think they're complaining? They're like, hey, getting that money.
That's great, man.
Get your money, King.
Now, Sith saw where I was going with this, by the way. Go ahead and click the last one, the copyright. So this was the next story that I was going to touch on. Miley Cyrus is being sued right now for her hit song Flowers. Remember that song Flowers? I can buy myself flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently she's being sued by a label because they're saying that it actually is it steals from a Bruno Mars song. No kidding. Everybody knows this, right? Everybody knows this. Okay, so the song Flowers, by the way, is a direct opposite of a Bruno Mars hit. What song was that one? When I Was Your Man. Remember, I can. He's talking about how I can buy her flowers and hold her hand and all that stuff. This whole song is a direct opposite of it because she's, instead of saying I can buy you flowers, she's saying what? I can buy myself flowers, right? Instead of saying I can hold your hand, she goes, I can hold my own hand. Yeah, right?
She don't need no one.
She took her song, which was a direct response to the Bruno Mars song, When I Was Your Man. Everyone knows this. It's obvious. But there's a group that has a now it's not Bruno Mars that's suing her. Apparently that song has different owners, like different shares of ownership of that song. And one of the groups that owns a share is suing, saying that she ripped off Bruno Mars' song. And since they have part ownership of the song, they're suing for damages to it all. She went on to win Grammys for that song. It's one of the most iconic songs the last 5-10 years. But your thoughts on Tempo Music suing Miley Cyrus?
If it sounds like it, man, you think it's borrowed and you can prove that in the court of law, get your money. Because you know what? It takes an awful lot of resources to do a song, right? Because you have to have these like sound engineers, audio engineers, and people that know how to put these things together, right? Then you have to have the singers and the musicians, bring everything together. Awful lot of work for one song, right? And then for someone to kind of borrow what you've created and not give you any money for all that hard work.
Well, it's one of those things where should she have considered Bruno Mars or the people that made that song the writers, like a co-writer?
She should have had permission to borrow the sampling track.
I mean, because sometimes you'll see that. Famously, Robin Thicke and Pharrell got in trouble for blurred lines.
He was fine with them until all that stuff came out that he was cheating and all that, because he was good friends with his wife.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "We ain't cool no more, bro."
Well, Marvin Gaye, that was a whole thing where Marvin Gaye's estate went after Robin Thicke and Pharrell, and they were saying that it wasn't an interpolation, it wasn't a type of interpretation, it was an outright ripoff, and it was.
Yeah, they borrowed the sample from their music.
Well, it wasn't even a sample because they actually redid the music, but when they redid the music, it was almost identical. And it remember back in the day, dude, Queen and Vanilla Ice.
Oh yeah.
Vanilla Ice saying, "Hey, look, man, we're it's different," and they're like, Queen's like, "No, we're the writers of Ice Ice Baby. We need to be one of the writers because that is our music."
I thought that was David Bowie actually that they borrowed that backing track for Vanilla Ice from.
Well, it was Under Pressure, which was a David Bowie and Freddie Mercury song, so it probably was both. You saw that with Bittersweet Symphony. The Verve,
yeah. That was from the Rolling Stones.
Getting sued by the Rolling Stones, saying the bum 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 bum
sample
that made your song. We are a writer of this song. If you're going to use our stuff, you saw that with Hootie and the Blowfish. He's referencing Bob Dylan and Only Want to Be With You. Put on a little Dylan. I said that song was great. I liked what he meant by "Should have shot a man named Gray, took his wife to Italy." Those are all lyrics of Bob Dylan. Even though he's citing him, he didn't name him as a writer. And
look at this. Tony Ornelas says a few lyrics respond to the Bruno Mars song, but it's a different song.
Well, the argument that this Tempo Music has against Miley Cyrus is saying that it's beyond the response to the lyrics. It has everything to do with the fact that the tempo is the same, that the rise of the music is the same, that the chord progression is the same, that basically you did a copy and paste and then just put your words onto it. I would side with Miley Cyrus on this one more than I would the other ones. Like Pharrell and Robin Thicke, they outright ripped off Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice outright ripped off Queen and David Bowie.
Yeah. Look at
this. But
this
one seems to be a little bit more different.
Sam Salinas is saying Lady Gaga, Born This Way, sounded like Madonna, Express Yourself.
Dude, every single song that Dua Lipa has that's a hit. I mean, part of it's In Excess. Did you see when Dua Lipa? But Dua Lipa does something different though. She names them as writers. She's not there going to say that it wasn't true. Dua Lipa has given them Andrew Ferris and Michael Hutchins's estate royalties. saying, yeah, this song sounds like yours. You guys should get credit. So I give her at least that credit there. And people were asking about Diddy. Did he sample? Dude, that's all he did was sample.
Diddy cut diddling. Is his nickname going to be the Diddler now?
I don't know, man.
Diddy going away for a while, dude.
He's going away for a long, long time.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and share some of this right here real quick, since we got to go ahead and plug ourselves sooner or later, you know.
Let's go ahead and do it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show everybody how they can go ahead and tip the show. You like what we do? You think it has value? Go ahead and buy us a beer. You know, go ahead and scan the QR code with your phones. If you're watching us on the big screen, little screen, don't matter. Any little bit helps the show grow. From anything from super chats to going ahead and giving us a little tip. It helps us, helps keep the lights on, helps the show keep going. So we appreciate any contributions from our listeners there. Another thing is, if you want to go ahead and support the show, you can also buy our merch. We do have merch available. And again, you can go ahead and see that there. Just go and click or scan, should I say, the QR code. And you can go ahead and support the lovely Alamo City Sportscast merch that we have. It's not just this design. There's many more designs on the store that we have, our online store. So just go ahead and click on that or scan the QR code and support the show. Buy our wares. We appreciate y'all's support. And another thing here is we got to give some love to you, Mike.
That's right. Big day for me, man. I'm getting audited at the office today, so I have to go show my files and whatnot. But I do financial services, so anything from retirement accounts, retirement strategies to insurance planning. I'm your guy, 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369. I'll be in Corpus Christi tonight, working with a future retiree who's in his 60s. So some people starting out. Some people have already reached the mountaintop, and I'm helping them along the way. So 210-508-0369. Looking at the charges against Diddy. This is according to CNN right now. It says guns, 1,000 bottles of lubricant seized by authorities, according to U.S. attorney.
That's a lot, dude.
That Diddy used others to help conceal his abuse. Prosecutors are saying that he needs to stay behind bars because the investigation is not done. They consider him a flight risk. And that these parties that they called freak-offs would abuse women who were allegedly kidnapped, drugged, and raped or forced into sexual situations, and that the injuries took days, if not weeks, for them to heal. The federal government is saying that Diddy needs to be behind bars until things get sorted out.
Diddy going away, man, for a while. For a long while.
What is the best Diddy song?
That Faith Evans song that he did.
I'll Be Missing You?
I'll Be Missing You. Because I'm always going to remember that because my sister-in-law, who's passed away many years ago, that song came out right around the time she passed away. And we played that song at her funeral because she liked that song.
Right.
So I always remember that song because it reminds me of my sister-in-law.
That's nice. I remember that back in the day. That was one of the songs. It was like that, One Sweet Day, or See You at the Crossroads, which were always being played.
See You at the Crossroads.
I'm looking at Spotify right now for the most played songs. Number one for P. Diddy is I'll Be Missing You, 603 million streams. I Need a Girl, Only You, Shake Your Tail Feather, and Last Night are the 5 most played P. Diddy songs. That guy is cochino.
He is a cochino, dude. Look at that. They said they showed up to arrest him and had Diddy in handcuffs, man. They serious about Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy says hi to R. Kelly. Wouldn't that be something if they start making bangers in prison together? You know?
Yeah. So a friend of mine just texted me that he had a parlay going. It was a 4-team parlay that died because the Eagles couldn't win last night.
Jeez.
Do the Eagles suck? Do the Cowboys suck? Does the NFC East suck?
Are they average teams,
Yes.
you know? And look at this, Matt Gomez. He said, if you all made a polo, I'd love to wear it at work. And you know what? Those are coming because we need polos, you know?
I like black or gray.
Black or gray, or even the dark navy blue. I like that one.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Fellas, I do got to call the show short, about 10 minutes. Getting buzzed by work right now. It is audit day at my work, which is a very stressful time. So I got to take care of that. And everyone have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow. This is the Alamo City Sportscast. Thank you to MCS General Contracting, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. We'll be back tomorrow.